Hey folks, just taking care of Peyton's calves for her while she's at softball practice. I know it's all about responsibility when they raise animals, but my dad used to do the same thing for me. Hard to believe. 6 years, 6 seasons of trapping time, and we are stoked. We're hoping that we can bring you the best season ever. This week, we're headed to southern West Virginia with my good friend Nick Biggs. He's going to show us what it's about to trap coyotes in the mountain state down south. This is trapping time.
Well, look who I got out of bed this morning to go check traps.
Right where I caught my first coyote. Welcome to Trap 101. It just never gets old seeing those dogs bouncing. This is my story. This is my time. This is Trapping Time. Trapping Time is brought to you by Trapping Girl Incorporated, Night Owl Lures, Old South Lures, Southern Snares and Spot, Smoky's Deer Lure, Webster's Predator Control, Duke Traps, Wolf Creek Products, Sawmill Creek Baits and Lures.
Alright, we're headed in and check these traps we set yesterday on that hunting leash. It's a good thing that these guys contact you to get in here and help them out. If nothing else, it pretty much guarantees you're going to get land for next year. Saw a lot of sign, pretty high hopes as far as what we might find. Pulling into the first set now. Lots of sign here when we set this up yesterday. Had high hopes for this. Yeah, it looks like we did pretty good. So I got a drag missing, and I actually see the dog bouncing in the bushes over there. So we'll get out and take a look at him, see what we got. I'll be right back. All right, so if you remember yesterday, we punched this dirt hole in right here and used that rock as the backing. And of course, it's always nice to see that peat moss hole blown out, as you know you got a drag out. And if you look, we got our drag buried up here, and of course the dog didn't make it anywhere, but just a little tip. A lot of times when that dog, when he pulls that drag out, you can actually see where the dirt comes out with it, and that'll give you a pretty much a starting point as far as where you need to go. And you can see, I mean, he didn't make it far off the road, but if that dog gets over there and lays down, when we get all this traffic coming by here, nobody's going to pay attention to that. I mean, the way he's laid down right there, folks come by on ATVs and side-by-sides, they're not going to pay attention to it. Again, these drags are highly effective. Something else it does is, of course, I'll come in here and remake this set, but it's not blown out. And there's not a big catch circle. Pretty much all we got to do is dispatch this dog and then bed that trap back in there.
Truthfully, I think one of the best things about knowing other trappers from across the country is seeing how they do what they do. You know, everybody who follows Nick on social media knows that boy can put up some coyotes. Now his style differs a little bit from mine, but if you really put it all in one big box, we're not too far apart the way we approach these coyotes. Hey, when we come back, we're going to see the remake on this set and show you how Nick put that coyote there in the buggy.
From the hills of West Virginia, Smoky's Deer Lures presents the first and only real pre-orbital gland lure in the world. Applying pre-orbital gland lure to a licking branch will allow you to take a complete inventory of the bucks at your favorite hunting spot. Get yours at smokiesdeerlure.com.
Hey folks, be sure to check out our all-star lineup for the upcoming season. New for 2018 is the hard-hitting Blackout Predator bait. If you're looking for a beaver-based bait with some kick, this is it. We're also proud to add to the batting order our line of mouse-based baits. If you're looking for a mice bait so pure it's practically eating cheese in the container, then you will want to try Peyton's Pretty Mouse. Maybe you're looking for a bait with some long-range appeal for those cold winter nights, then you've got to try Peyton's Dirty Mouse. When you're serious about trapping predators like we are, then be sure to make your next purchase at trappingtimetv.com.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get this set put back in. Put it right back in like we had on a drag. Getting a lot of freeze-thaw weather. Southern West Virginia, so I put a little driveway heat in the bed. Again, can't reiterate enough, that trap's got to be dead solid, and it is. That's the good thing about a drag. If you'll notice, this set was completely undisturbed rather than him getting popped and running. Your trap bed's still intact. You basically just have to bed a trap right back in there with some polyfill under that pan. Peat moss. Always like to know where your pan is. Keep your pan cleaned off if you can. That way you don't mess around and get a trap on your finger. Of course, a little antifreeze, salt. With targeting coyotes, I like to cover a little bit of the chain. I definitely don't have to cover it all. And then this time of year, we use some freeze-proof dirt. I like to scatter kind of all over the set. Then I'll take this drill and we'll drill this dirt hole back out. That dog must have worked that thing. And then we've been running this Rodents Revenge by Old South. Been hammering the coyotes in West Virginia with it. And I like to take a little bit of gland lure because they're breeding right now. This is Trapping Time coyote gland. And I like to put it up here on the face. Just smear it on there good. Get him over here. And the last thing I like to do, real important, a lot of guys don't do it, is you need to guide that coyote. When he comes up here to work his set, don't just let him step all over the place. One of the best things in the world to use is coyote scat. Scat all over the place up here. So I know my pan is here. Put one there and one there, and that's it. And then take my whisk broom and just kind of work all this back up. And that's all there is to it. We're ready to roll again. Quick and simple. Use these drags. It maintains your set. Get your dog off of these main roads where you don't have to worry about losing them to people that are going to steal them. And then you're in and out, on to the next one. Anyway, we'll come back tomorrow and check this. Hope we got another dog.
Hey, I got to give Nick some props. That might not have been exactly the same way I do it, but we end up with the same result. Hey, stay tuned. When we come back, we're headed to the Trapping Time Set of the Week. Hey folks, Robbie Gilbert here, host of Trapping Time TV. Hard to believe, Season 5. We'd like to give a big shout out to all the fans who made this possible. To show our appreciation, we're offering 10% off our entire website from now until December 31st, 2019. Just enter coupon code TRAP10. We carry a full line of trapping supplies such as Duke traps, Webster's Predator Control baits and lures, Sawmill Creek, Trap Set Supply, Old South lures, Night Owl lures, and many more. Before your next trapping purchase, enter TRAP10 and take advantage of all the great deals at TrappingTimeTV.com.
Well, you see, trappers are a special breed of people. We're dedicated, committed, and passionate about what we do and who we are. Each and every one of us has an intense desire to be the very best we can. So in the world of skinny jeans, man buns, and pumpkin spice lattes, sometimes you just have to stop, push back, and tell the world, that's not me. Whether you're from the far north or in the deep south, and anywhere in between, Southern Snares can help you succeed at getting the job done and being who you are.
Hey folks, welcome to this Trapping Time Set of the Week. This week, I'm going to throw a scenario at you. Alright, you've been trapping a property and you're starting to get dig outs and you don't know why. You might think it's a coyote, maybe a coon, but you're trying to figure out a way to catch this because he keeps working your dirt holes and blowing out your trap. I'm going to show you guys a little set that started out as a way to catch trap shy or digger coyotes, but I've evolved it into another set that if you wanted to use it just as a regular set, even if you didn't have a problem on your line, that it'll be equally as effective. It's called the offset dirt hole. Now, so just so you get an idea of what we got going on here, right here's our dirt hole, and we have taken all this dirt out of the inside. We want this kind of oversized. We want this dirt right here. I want it exposed. I want them to come in and want to dig it. Everybody knows that canines are attracted to loose dirt, especially when it's fresh like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to play off that instinct of theirs. Now, if you're trying to figure out where the trap's going to be at, right here's our dirt hole. I call it offset. Anybody that ever watched the show, offset to me, it's from anywhere off the center. I want my trap right here. We're going to use our cookie cutter, which I'm going to get some close-ups of this, so don't worry, guys. You'll get to see what's happening right here. My cookie cutter is going to be right about where my cookie cutter's at is exactly where my trap's going to be. I want it offset a little bit. We're going to blend this in. So when this coyote comes in to work this dirt, because he's been in here digging all the time, flipping our traps, taking our bait, we don't want him to even think about what's over here. So when he comes in, bam, we're going to get him. I'll get you in close and I'll show you what we're talking about. Like I said, now here's our dirt hole. Where my cookie cutter at is that's exactly where we're going to put the trap. Get your cookie cutter. Dress that hole up a little bit if the sod don't come all the way out. Now we're not going to drive this trap down in because this is teaching purposes, but that cookie cutter, that trap's bedded solid. It's not going anywhere. Touch it if you have to. It's not going anywhere. We're going to put some peat moss over this and we're going to blend it in. Now we're going to blend this thing in. Get you a set of shears. A lot of you guys like to blend your sets in anyways, so a lot of you guys probably already have them in here. This little set works great for, especially if you guys are running drags. You run that cutter and all you got to do, you're not even anchoring. You're going to try and get as much grass as you can around it. We want this thing to look as natural as possible. We want, when these coyotes come in here, all they're thinking about is putting their paws in this dirt. And like I said earlier, so a lot of times you guys get these diggers. I know we all like to think that they're coyotes coming after it, but it's not always true. Sometimes they are raccoons that are fooling with us. All right, guys, now we're going to lure this up. Now, if we've had coyotes coming in and fooling with it, a lot of times we may just throw a little bit of bait down in there and be done with it because you already got coyote smell. But being a deer hunter, I like to use what I call the scrape method. I want an animal, especially if this is a new set. If you're not here trying to catch a digger coyote and this is a new set for you, a lot of times what I like to do, I like to mix it up a little bit. We're going to take some of our final step from Sawmill and we're going to put it in the bottom. That's going to be our attractant. That's going to be the bait. That's what we want them in there. Just put something about the size of a quarter, maybe a little bit more. Just enough to get their attention. This has a really great smell to it. It'll be enough to attract them. Now here's where the deer hunting part of me comes out. I'm going to put 2 different coyote smells. We're going to use some Coyote Gland number 1 from Trap Shed Supply. And I like using 2 different lure makers when I do this, because I know for a fact they've gotten them from 2 different animals, so it really makes this set more effective. We're going to take some of the Trap Shed's Coyote Gland number 1. We're going to put it right here. Then we're going to take some of Southern Snares and Supplies One Night Stand, and we're going to put it there too. So now we've got 2 different dog smells. So when that third dog comes in, they're social animals. When they come in, they're going to be sniffing, they're going to be trying to figure out what's going on. It takes a little bit of the fear factor out of them, because when they come in here, they know there's already been 2 coyotes here and it smells like there's something down in there. It's freshly dug. It's going to take that fear element out of them, that they're not going to worry about what's over here. Let them come in here and dig. Like I always say, let them dig all they want. The longer they spend time there moving their paws, the better chance I've got of catching them. So if you use this little trick, whether you're trying to fix a problem on a trap line or it's just a new fresh set that you're wanting to throw out, I guarantee it's going to make you more successful.
Duke Traps has the most complete product line of game traps in the world. Check out the full line of body grippers for beaver, raccoon, muskrat, and more. Duke has homeowners covered as well with a full line of standard and heavy-duty live cage traps. Duke has over 30 models of animal control devices that can help you with your trapping needs. Duke now offers the number 550 and larger 650 coil springs, plus their newly developed number 2 dogless for catching coyotes. Get more information at duketraps.com. Duke, America's best trap value.
From the hills of West Virginia, Smokey's Deer Lures presents the first and only real pre-orbital gland lure in the world. Applying pre-orbital gland lure to a licking branch will allow you to take a complete inventory of the bucks at your favorite hunting spot. Get yours at smokiesdeerlure.com.
Folks, if you use little tips like that, it's sure to put more fur in your shed and make for a much more enjoyable experience. Now, let's get back to the coyote action with Nick.
All right, guys, back on the line again, southern West Virginia. This old road we're traveling here is absolutely ate up with coyote and cat tracks, so we're looking to pick up these predators. And the reason being that they're using this is an old mine reclaim pond here, and then of course running along this side of the property is a river. All right, guys, we're back. We're going to punch this set in. We're going to put it on a drag. There is some ATV traffic on this. A lot of folks bring their kids down here to fish in that little pond. Let's talk for a second about the drag setup. Run a good drag, a heavy drag, good pointed drag. We run it on about 10 foot of chain. And of course, I just put swivels on each end. Run a shock spring about 24 inches down off the chain. We get a lot of questions about swivels. I don't put a bunch of swivels in my chain. You know, that's up to you if you want to. Never ever had a problem with dogs getting in a bind. It's swiveled here. It's swiveled here at the shock spring, and then it's swiveled on the end. And that seems to be good enough for us. But anyway, highly effective. If you're not using drags, I think if you get them out on your line, you'll like them. And the last thing is the new Duke 550 Pro Series. It's been pretty good for us. All right, so in a lot of places, if the ground's conducive to it, guys will actually bury their drag in the same hole they put their set in. You dig a big hole, you know, put the drag and the chain in the hole, throw some stuff in on top of it, bed your trap on top of it. You can't do that where I'm at. You're just not going to be able to dig a hole big enough. So what we do, and I'll show you, is we're going to pre-hook the drag over there, but I just run a little bit of the chain basically outside the bed. And that's pretty much all the chain I'll put in the ground. The rest of it I'll leave out. All right, in this weather, what we've been using to top this off, instead of sifting this stuff back in, it's soaking wet and have a chance of it freezing on us. I've been covering these sets with freeze-proof dirt. Stuff is excellent. I like to take a rock, use it as my backing. I know my pan's right there. I like to hug that trap with that rock. And then I like to take another rock. A lot of guys don't. They don't want anything around their bed. I like to take another rock, just work it in right there, like it's been there. Punch a hole there. Punch a hole there. Trapping time coyote gland. And it doesn't take much, but they're breeding right now. So I always try to use some gland. I'll put it in the hole. And also smear some just right up here on top. And then a lot of guys completely go away from bait right now, but I still occasionally use bait and a hole. This is trapping time back 40. And the last thing I do is this time of year I always use good urine at every set. Some guys do, some guys don't. And then what we'll do, I'll pull this drag over here, and I like to at least put them in the ground. There's a couple reasons why. When that coyote or cat pulls that hook, I'm going to be able to see which way the dirt's pulled with it. So that'll tell me kind of where to start looking. So theoretically, we want this dog or cat to get popped and head to that riverbank where nobody will see him. And another reason I bury these, especially where there's traffic, you don't want somebody backing over and puncturing a tire, because then you're going to have problems. Anyway, that's all there is to it. Simple set. All right, guys, we're back here on the line. If you remember, we made this coyote set here the other day. We just used this rock and basically put some trapping time coyote gland on that rock, some urine. I come back in here today to check the traps. Of course, it's always nice to see that blown peat hole and the trap gone. But you can see where I had the chain. Remember, I buried the chain. Of course, here's where we had it. Here's where we had that drag buried. And what I was telling you, you can see where he pulled the drag and the stuff came out this way. Of course, it pulled up stuff over here. Of course, when we start looking, you can see right there's where you can tell something's happened. And generally, that's what they'll do. They'll go for cover. So let me get this dog out of here, and then we'll be right back with this remake.
Folks, I really hope you enjoyed this week's show. You know, when it comes to trapping, there's a lot more to trapping than just fur checks and numbers. One of the things it does, it brings people closer together and builds some lasting friendships. You know, because of my love for trapping and Nick's love for trapping, we've become buddies, and what I like to think be lifelong friends. You know, I've really got a lot of respect for the guy that puts up numbers like that and has about the same determination and drive to get other people involved as I do. He's always taking his family out, as you know as well as I do. I always got my family out with me, and I always encourage you, to keep the tradition alive. That's what it's about, and no one exemplifies it more than Nick Biggs. Well, we hope you really enjoyed this week's show. Next week, hey, guess what? The girls of my family decided it was time that they put old Robbie on the back burner, and they were going to run their own trap line. And I tell you what, it's a pretty exciting show. Until next time, like we always say, we're keeping the tradition alive here at Trapping Time.